So the VTuber convention Offkai will be starting tomorrow, and well, some people are not so happy about it, and we want to go through this in this video just to kind of cover all of the drama slash situation that is going on with Offkai, as this was something that actually took place a couple of months ago, but people are starting to, kind of get back onto it now that, the event is about to start up and there's been no kind of response, right? And it's been a very, very interesting one because, yeah, as I said, starting tomorrow in San Jose. But there's been a lot of comments surrounding this one post here, where obviously they said that they would be doing a Fansly booth, which obviously, me personally, I think that's okay. I think that, if you want to do a Fansly booth, that's fine. But the problem that people had with it was mainly the fact where you could find them, which obviously they put is in the exhibitor hall, which obviously, it's not necessarily covered or anything, because usually with fancy booths and things like this, they put them into like a separate area or into like a different room that, obviously kids can't stumble upon and everything like that. And, obviously this is in the exhibitor hall though, which obviously can be seen by everyone. So people were concerned about obviously kids and stuff like that, coming across this booth and being exposed to it when obviously, they shouldn't be, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? So again, there's been a lot of replies from this original announcement and all of this kind of stuff. A lot of people have been not so happy, saying, I remember when everyone said it would be an 18 plus section, and we're saying that anyone finding it weird was sorry, that a blank site was sponsoring an all ages event were weird. Here's the fans at the exhibitor halls. I'm pro sex work, but there's a time and place, and obviously they put this here, which is obviously the map of it. So a lot of people did argue back at two people saying that, oh, it's going to be in a separate area or whatever. And well, this is apparently the the map of the place, and you can see it is there with all of the other places. Obviously, you got the Gamer Subs booth there, right next to it, and as well as a couple of other kind of companies. Got Face Connect down there. So again, it's there with all the normal booths, all of the normal things here. So again, it's not like kind of cut off. They don't even show the fact that they're, maybe there's some kind of curtain or anything around it. That doesn't seem to be the case. It just seems to be in the middle, which of course I think is a little bit odd, right? And there's the follow-up saying they specifically have a 18 plus section they could have gone in, but they put the blank site in the main hall where children as young as 13 can be unaccompanied by an adult, as per their own guidelines. How much money did Fancy pay you guys at Offkai? Yeah, we gotta love remembering all the people defending it and claiming it'll be cut off by part of the con. So how's that wall looking? Which obviously, yeah, lots of people are arguing that it probably would be in like this area, right, where it's like a place where you need like a wristband and someone will check it and confirm that you are old enough to be going into an area like this, right? But again, that doesn't seem to be the case. It just seems to be slap bang in the middle with a bunch of other kind of places as well, which I think is pretty interesting, right? And there's been even more comments on this too, saying at Offkai, the fancy panel is still in the main exhibition hall. The fact that the Offkai okayed this remains utterly baffling to me. This can only be described with words like careless, reckless, and questionable. What Fansly is doing is called pandering, which is promoting people to become blank workers. While that is legal, morally it's more dubious. Especially when this is happening in an area where minors 13 plus are allowed to go without parental supervision, which also is another issue that people have, right? Sure, if like maybe there was some people, that were like 13, whatever, they were with their parents could just kind of be like, put their hand over their eye, don't look at that, right? Whatever, sure. But, it's the fact that they're able to go around without supervision, right? And they're able to go to a booth like this. It's kind of concerning, right? I think Fancy is an official sponsor for Offkai, meaning they put some good money for that spot, making the whole thing even more morally screwed. I do want to mention that it appears to be okay for Fancy to be in an area with minors because they sponsored the event, but somehow FaZe sponsoring the artist aisle, it still made some members of the staff have the audacity to try and strong-arm FaZe into not bringing Pippa because she's too edgy. Clearly, we have found our moral priorities in order. That in my humblest of opinions, the fact that Fansly is allowed to promote its mostly NSFW platform in an area that allows minors in, while the 18 plus area is a thing, it's nothing short of disgraceful. Fundamentally, money is money. Fansly can sponsor Offkai if they want. Fundamentally, I believe in capitalism. Fansly should also be able to promote itself and its products. Fundamentally, I don't care if there's a bunch of blanks at Offkai. I work with NSFW VTubers all the time. And yeah, that's 100% the case, right? It's not like necessarily we hate the website and, you know, hate the people that work on the website, whatever. No, you know, obviously even they mentioned that they work with a lot of people that use the site, right? It's just more so, you know, maybe this could have been put in a better area and, you know, they literally have a dedicated area for it. Why isn't it in there, right? That's essentially what people are asking. They're not saying we hate the site or we hate the people that use the site or anything like that. No, they're saying, why is this, you know, clearly 18+ area in a place where kids can access, right? Apparently as well, people have been saying Mutual has been on it for a bit. One of the phone numbers connected to Offkai has a voicemail with the message just saying no. Saying having one phone number for everything is such a terrible idea. I don't know where to begin with. Imagine if an emergency came up, local police tried to reach to staff for information. They just got this message. Jesus. Which, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, if that's true, that sucks, right? So yeah, obviously a lot of people unhappy about that, and there's been many VTubers and stuff that have spoken up about it as well, right? You know, people say Anime Expo, the largest anime convention, had a huge banner / booth opening promoting a dojo site. You all have genuinely never been to other cons, and it shows. Just finding anything to be mad at, which again, you know, I still think it is concerning though, right? I don't know, you know, obviously yes, they do have like stuff at Anime Expo, but just because it's okay at one place doesn't exactly mean it's okay at another, right? You know, I feel like it's pretty interesting, you know, the kind of way that people go about it. And of course, you know, there's been so many people as well just kind of, you know, saying that this isn't right and whatever. I mean, I remember Kirsche did make a response to it. I'm trying to find where it is. I think it's a little bit further down. You know, people say this is disgusting and I'm very tired of this insidiously evil corporation being treated like a real sponsor. You know, you've got everyone here saying, I'm not defending this, but I'm going to be honest, there's maybe like 10 kids attending Offkai, guys. But again, even if it is 10 kids, right, that still doesn't mean it's okay, right? That's still 10 kids that are going to be attending the event and seeing this convention thing. You know, we can't just go, oh, well, it's okay because, you know, it's only 10 rather than, you know, 100, right? Which, you know, that just doesn't make sense. You're still exposing 10 kids to something that they probably shouldn't be exposed to, right? I mean, you know, or I say probably, they shouldn't be exposed to. Like, I think that's pretty obvious, right? So, again, just because it's 10 doesn't mean it's, you know, necessarily something that, you know, needs to be forgotten about, right? But, yeah, I mean, it is a pretty interesting situation, right? And it just continues on and continues on. I think a lot of VTubers have pretty mixed opinions, I would say, on this, but I think a lot of people are more so kind of, you know, interested in why this is in the main hall and why it isn't somewhere else, because I'm sure there's many, you know, people who use the site like this or whatever that also, you know, wouldn't want this to be in the main exhibitor hall either, to a place where 13-year-olds can run around and, you know, kind of visit it on their own without any adult there, right? So again, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry, right? You know, Powder saying incredible talent, huh? Obviously kids walking around during the day. Surely this isn't going to be done while kids are around, correct? Surely we're not gonna put them in front of you know, blank. Which, yeah, I mean, it's weird, right? Obviously a lot of people saying no. So again, I think it's odd, right? And obviously, yeah, Powder with the incredible talent, you know, obviously she's more so, I think, against the actual talent of Fansly and whatever. But again, the thing that I'm worried about is this, obviously, the actual kind of, what do you call it, like the hall, the exhibitor hall, and where Fansly is, you know, kind of presented and whatever in comparison with a lot of the other places. Again, we know there is a separate place for these booths to be able to go, but for some reason they decided not to put it there. So it's interesting, right? But yeah, I mean, that's essentially all there is for this situation. I just kind of want to give you guys an update because, again, Offkai is happening tomorrow. Of course, we'll have to see if there's any problems with this. Maybe someone's going to get a video of some kid like going up to the booth or something like that. If that happens, that's going to be absolutely horrible. And it's going to prove all of, you know, people's points about, you know, why it's such a bad idea to do it. But yeah, we'll have to see, right? Yeah, that's about off this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.